why it's so important to understand the emotional component of people's decision-making process.
I think if we are all honest with ourselves, and if we also look at the research, all of our decision making is emotional first, right? It's one of those things that we don't like to admit because it somehow sounds like we're doing something wrong if we
We're
make
being
emotional,
manipulated.
yeah, the
Yeah.
emotional decisions. But when you really step and look back at the psychologists and the neuroscientists and all these folks, everything we do is emotional first, and then we use logic and data and facts to kind of support our decisions, to back it up and to
Mhm.
justify it, right? So it's there was a quote I saw once, and I apologize, I can't remember the person, but it's like, we're feeling creatures that think, right?
Mm,
And so
interesting.
this idea that everything we do starts with this emotional connection reaction standpoint, all of our decision making, not just purchase decisions. And of course, marketers have figured this out for a long time, and they know how to kind of pull those emotional strings, if you will, to get us to connect and want something or to desire things, and then to make purchases.
It's interesting you mentioned that the neurolinguistics. Years ago, I was involved with a woman-centric program from um, design. I think it was design graphics, but they create floor plans out in Nebraska. But they came up with this program, and they were to educate home builders on the purchasing behavior. And of course, it all went back to the study that showed that women, I think, account for it's something like 84% of all household decisions as far as purchase making decisions. And of course, if someone wants to build a new home or remodel their home, it's typically women that start it. So it makes a lot of sense in that women uh, are certainly more feeling oriented than probably men. And the fact that more often than not, women are making the decision of where they want to move, and sometimes they're dragging a significant other along with them, makes a lot of sense. Is that that emotional component of the website would be so critical. Do you agree with that? With that analysis of that, women are typically the decision makers, or at least the initial decision makers when it comes to making the decision to research for a new home?
I certainly believe the information that women kind of lead the home buying and home renovation type decisions. I and I agree that men and women are very different.
You think?
Yeah, I'm just going to go on record here. However, I do not believe that it's true that men are not emotional decision makers. Right, our emotions are different. Our
Mhm.
emotions may be triggered by different things, but whether it's a new home or a new truck, it's there's still this emotional component to this choice that we make of whether we want that or need that, and is it rational, air quotes, right, irrational or not, to spend our money on something, or is it just because we feel that need. So yes, are the emotions of men and women very different? Absolutely, but still there's an emotional component for
Yep,
decision making.
absolutely. I heard something interesting today just from one of the people on my team, and she said that she feels like when it's moving out of the home, out of the parents' homes, and actually getting your own nest. So whether that's an apartment or your first time home you're buying, what have you, is that her feelings is that women, that was more important to a woman than it was to a man. Is that a man might stay in the with his parents a little bit longer, where women were more, they had a greater desire to actually get out and get their own place. So that was just her anecdotal evidence, but maybe that's true, maybe it isn't true. Obviously, we're dealing with now a generation that's buying right now in the first-time home buyers that either stayed with mom and dad a long time, a lot longer than we thought they would, or they stayed in a rental, delayed getting married, delayed having children, and then all of a sudden now here comes 2020, COVID hits, a lot of civil unrest in more urban areas, and all of a sudden the desire for this younger generation to actually get out and buy their first home is great. And